Hey guys, what's up? It's Solo, and I decided, you know what? One of the comments was right. I did say, oh, I'm gonna make a bunch of, videos about, or I'm gonna make a video about all three of them, and then turned around and made a video strictly just about Gambit. So to make up for that, we're gonna make two more videos. One about Vanguard Strikes, which is the one you're watching currently, and then one about PvP, which I do not play much. That's why it's getting the last video, because, well, I'm gonna push it off as long as I can. But anyway, so with Vanguard Strikes, this is a topic because, well, they're looking into them for Lightfall and how to improve them, but also it's a thing that we've actually seen a bit of a better system in Destiny 1. This is one of the places where I'll say Destiny 1 is definitely up on a better scale. Not on the terms of like quality of strike, more on the terms of how strikes worked. For example, with Destiny 1, we used to have the skeleton key system, which gave you strike specific loot, and a lot of the strike specific loot was actually really cool looking, just because of how it like fit, and you could get, unique combinations based on those loot. But also with these skeleton keys, you could also get loot that would boost your max light level, because it was seen as light level back then, and it would actually be healthful. While that's all good and dandy, there were some things about that loot system that a lot of people enjoyed as well, like the fact of what you can get from it. And it felt like when you got a Vanguard set, you were getting a really good, combination of armor, because you had strike specific loot, but you also had armor sets that were more than just yearly rotation. And that's the biggest thing about a lot of the playlists that are core playlists, is they suffer from the same thing, which is the same armor set and a lot of the same weapons. While we do know that like Nightfalls do rotate in what weapon that they're bringing, along with like Grandmasters being a thing, there's still an issue with difficulty being presented with champions and freedom of going into a Grandmaster Nightfall having to have a certain loadout because of champions. And there's also an issue with just armor sets in Vanguard Strikes feel very plain and repeat themselves a lot. So let's talk about we'll go more organized here. So let's talk about the 5 things that I have written down that we should talk about, which number 1 is going to be more strikes. Now, if you guys don't know, there's not as many strikes as there used to be. When Forsaken was vaulted, we actually lost like quite a few of them. I'm pretty sure we lost the one that originally gave Mindbender's Ambition. Of course, now it's a Nightfall item that you can get, but back then it was just in a strike with the Fanatic, and you could just farm it, and it was a really good shotgun until, of course, all the nerfs came and yada yada yada. But it was a cool thing because it definitely reminded a lot of people of strike specific loot, because it was tailored to look and feel like it was from Forsaken, and that it was, the Mindbender's shotgun. And yeah, so it was a pretty cool drop, but that doesn't exist anymore. There's a lot of Red War stuff that doesn't exist anymore, including a lot of Mars strikes and a lot of different things along those lines. So I think a big thing that I'd love to see Bungie go in and do is just give us more strikes, like when Lightfall comes out. Just give us like maybe 5 more strikes, if that. Just give us something new. And I know like I said, I know they're already looking into giving us updated strikes when around the time of Lightfall. So yeah, that's interesting. The next thing I have written down is better difficulty. Now this goes hand in hand with the champions issue, which is a lot of people feel kind of barred down by having to have a specific loadout for champions. And the reason why the people who played the legend difficulty for the Witch Queen was 2 out of 3 people is because the difficulty for Witch Queen did not limit you based on what loadout you did. It was just hard to begin with and didn't like actually had difficulty to it and had scaling based on how many people you had. Now, of course, that's a little bit harder because with strikes you always have 3 people, so you can't really solo a strike unless you get lucky and you like your teammates go out, but usually you'll get a replacement pretty quickly. But I definitely think that we need to get some sort of playlist that's not like a legendary strike playlist or something like that, because I feel like that would give Bungie the opportunity to make like really cool armor sets that you can only get in that specific playlist, and that are rewards for doing all the strikes on legendary. I don't know. I feel like that would be pretty neat. I know Grandmasters exist, but also I know there is a frustration with Grandmasters because, well, the rotation for like adept weapons feels samey and not really super rewarding besides like pinnacle stuff, and of course if you're going for Conqueror for a season. So yeah, that's a big issue. The third one I have is better looking and functional loot, which I already talked about a little bit earlier, but just to, I guess, go into more detail on it is, so when strike specific loot was a thing, a lot of people liked it because there is a fashion community with Destiny, whether you want to believe it or not. A lot of people spend a lot of time making their outfits look good, and it's awesome to look really, really good. I mean, not everybody wants to look like me and look like they get hit in the head with a shovel. That's literally all I use to describe this helmet. Most of the rest of it is raid stuff. But I'll digress with that. The big thing is a lot of people don't really have a loot incentive to do strikes besides getting their pinnacle every week. You know, there's not really a reason for me to grind strikes or basically like lost sectors or anything that doesn't involve, you know, a playlist activity that gives pinnacle weapons or pinnacle drops, because that's how we are now, is pinnacle drops fuel the game. So if something drops pinnacle drops, that's where a lot of people are going to be because they are trying to get their light up. I mean, look at me. When I switch off Risk Runner, I'm at 1583, and the only way for me to go up is by doing raids, nightfalls, etc. But, you know, there's nothing else for people to grind or like try to get in these playlists. You know, and like I was talking about with the Gambit playlist, if they made a armor set that was, you know, kind of stoic or more based on being the front line of the last city, and they made this armor set just purely Vanguard aesthetic, and every time you reset your rank for something like the Vanguard, it would be better. Now, mind you, they could theoretically make a legend playlist and put this armor behind that legend playlist, so then it's only the people who are like, you know, going for Conqueror every season and stuff like that that are going to get this armor and be able to, you know, reset it and make it look cooler. And that's, again, another incentive that Bungie could do with this going forward. Another incentive that they should possibly be doing is, I'm gonna bring this up again, yearly rotations are not good for core playlists. Because, yeah, while we do get nightfall rotations every week, a rotation of armor sets and available weapons from strikes should not be on a year playlist. because eventually that runs stale and people only want to go for pinnacles. And then you get the dilemma of basically one of the core functional parts of your game is bland. And people have mentioned this a lot before because, like I said, with the hard or the heroic strikes in Destiny 1, it kind of fixed itself when skeleton keys came out because of how skeleton keys worked. And like I said in my last video, I had my own video even talking about how to get skeleton keys. But anyway, with that, I guess I'll move into my fourth thing I have written down. So the fourth thing I have written down is incentive, which I already basically talked about with loot. But incentive, like, for example, we know that the PvP Triumph or title Unbroken is getting retired next season because they're making a different title. Whether or not it'll be easier to get that title remains to be seen. But I definitely think that there should be more titles for casual players and also more titles for hardcore players. Because that's the thing, is right now for someone brand new getting into the game, right? And I know Guardian ranks might solve some of this. Which, by the way, I hope Bungie has rewards for, like, making it to certain Guardian ranks, or else that would be kind of a little bland. But also, it's helpful for, like, stuff like LFG. But, like, for right now, with strikes, regular strikes don't really get you much. Like, Conqueror is only available if you do Grand Masters. You know, there's no really, like, oh, go do a strike thing. And with Crucible, it's just very competitive. You can only do Unbroken. So, yeah, I'd really like to see a more focus on getting titles for not only casual players, but also more hardcore players. So, like, if people are, you know, just grinding Grandmasters or ranked PvP or trials, stuff like that, I'd like to see more of that, which I know a lot of people are like, don't give stuff to casuals because they're not playing as much as other people, but also, like, that gives them incentive to keep playing, you know? Because if you don't have casuals, you're going to be missing out on a big part of your player base. But yeah, just incentives. I think rank rewards kind of suck still. Which we're gonna go, that's my fifth topic, by the way, is rank rewards. So if you guys go and look at Zavala, literally the only two things that people go for in his rank rewards, because a lot of people have a lot of the materials that are already in his rank rewards, is the big things that people want are the seasonal weapon, which is going to be this season Cry Mutiny, which is a grenade launcher. By the way, please, for the love of God, can we get more types of weapons as seasonal weapons? Like, Cry Mutiny is another grenade launcher. And I'm pretty sure last season it was, I think, a machine gun. Yeah, it was a machine gun because it was Chain of Command. But I've yet to see, I've yet to see a hand cannon. I've yet to see, I think we had a hand cannon like way back when, but I've yet to see a glaive or a pulse in a while. It's mostly been shotguns, machine guns, and grenade launchers. I do want to see more variety with that, and I'm hoping that they will do that the more it goes on. But yeah, no, just the rank rewards are kind of bland. Because a lot of people will only go for the shaders and the rewards for, like, Cry Mutiny. And then, of course, the skins if you're going for a seasonal challenge. And that's kind of tough to do. Because then at that point, you're just basically just playing to get 2 rewards, or 3 if you go for the skin for Cry Mutiny. And then after that, you have nothing, like no reason to reset your rank whatsoever. And that's the thing, is I feel like Bungie should definitely work on reworking even more of the ranks, especially higher end ranks, for people who have reset a bunch of times in their, you know, in their lifetime of the season. Because, like, I don't want it to feel like if I reset my Vanguard strike card for my rank, I don't want it to feel like I'm just basically doing it for nothing. You know, I'm doing all these strikes, you know, the core playlist of the game, or what's supposed to be the core playlist of the game, and I'm getting nothing. You know? Because that's a big issue. Like, to feel like you're doing a core part of the game, you know, and I know it's not like high-end content, it's not a strike, or it's not a raid, it's not, you know, Grandmaster Nightfalls, but to do a main playlist, or what's considered a main playlist in Bungie's eyes, and to feel like I'm only getting 3 rewards that are actually worth it at all in the slightest bit, is kind of disheartening, especially, like I said, because gameplay is centered around these core playlists. And yeah, you can say, oh, well, when the season begins, you're going to get a lot of, you know, you're going to get a lot of incentive to play it because you have to get your light level up. But this time around, like, and other times around, getting your light level up to the soft cap is probably the easiest thing you'll do. Because it does not take that much to get up to soft cap. Especially running, like, strikes or any of that, because you're going to be there in no time. I think I was there in, like, the first day. But, anyway. Yeah, so that's the biggest grievances, is mostly around loot, and also the fact that we're missing a lot of strikes. And the strike playlist seems like it keeps rotating to the same strikes. Like, I'm pretty sure I played the Light Blade, and then I think it was Light Blade, the Terminus. Oh, what was the other one? And then, of course, the Battlegrounds playlist. Heck, before they made the Proving Grounds strike a Nightfall, I hadn't seen it in, like, weeks because of how some of the stuff is weighted. I don't know. It's weird. I hope when Nightfall comes out, they do add some more strikes. Because when Witch Queen came out, I think we only got 2, I want to say. Because there was Birthplace of the Vile, and then there was Light Blade. Which Light Blade makes me laugh, just because, you know, if you're a Destiny 1 player and you see Light Blade and you remember that this guy has literally been, you know, just dunked on like almost his entire existence, you would laugh too. Just because it's a Hive guy who just has been dunked on, even now. But anyway, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I'm gonna try to make a PvP video. I don't know how well that's gonna go, because I don't play PvP often, but it's gonna be along the same lines as this. But anyway, guys, if you liked the video, hit the like button, comment down below. What do you guys suggest for an improvement to Vanguard Strikes or Gambit? I'm not gonna put PvP in there yet, because I feel like I already know that it's gonna be new maps and remove skill-based matchmaking. But guys, don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.